The new rebooted film Firestarter, in my opinion, this was a dumpster fire to say the least. I tried to like this movie, but at the end of the day, it's just another terrible film that I've seen this year. I kind of had high hopes for this movie that it'll at least be decent, but boy, was I wrong. There is a lot of things about this film that comes together to make it an atrocious movie. In fact, I'm going to quote Robert Ebert: "No good movie is too long, and no bad movie is short enough." And my goodness, despite the fact this film is over an hour and a half, I still want this movie to be over as quickly as possible simply because of how boring and uninterested I was with this film. So, the story of this film is that a metahuman child, Charlie, has the ability to create fires with her mind. But when an incident happens at school, her and her father, Andrew McGee, played by Zac Efron, they have to go on the run from a government agency. And basically, that's the entire film. As far as the acting is concerned, it's terrible. Even the child actor. Now, you guys know my opinions on child actors. They're good or terrible. In her case, she was pretty bad. Basically, it's not really her fault because I bet this was her first movie, but still, I did not like the acting in this film, and the stories all over a damn place. And this is a movie that the concept is interesting. It's just the people who made this movie failed to execute it properly. Kurt Will Smith is in this film. He plays a doctor, and his character is completely wasted in this movie. Like, for example, he is only in one scene through the entire film. You don't see him at all for the rest of the movie. And I must say that that is some awful character development. And speaking of which, the character development for all these other characters in this film is just atrocious. If you haven't seen this movie, do yourself a favor and skip this one because believe me, this movie is not worth your time. As far as source material is concerned, I have not read the 1980 book, but I have heard good things about it. I also have not seen the 1984 film starring a young Drew Barrymore, but I heard that movie's bad, but it's probably not as terrible as this film. The plot holes in this movie is just downright bad. The acting is atrocious, like I mentioned before. And the whole story is just one dumpster fire. Like, this movie is extremely boring, and the characters are just one dimension. Even the antagonists in this film, they got no character development. They're not, menacing or nothing. It's just flat out just boring, vanilla. One thing I will say, the only thing I really liked about this film was the music done by John Carpenter, which is interesting because originally he was going to do music for the original 1984 film. Nonetheless, though, at the end of the day, this movie is just a huge waste of time, and quite frankly, it's not worth my time like ever again. It's that bad of a movie. I'm giving this film a 3 out of 10. Man, this movie was so boring. It was painful to watch throughout it. And basically, the characters are not interesting. This was an awful script. And who approved of this movie actually being made? I tell you who, Hollywood. I have to say that if this movie was a TV series, then it'd probably be more interesting because you could do a whole lot with that. But alas, this is a horrible film that has so many issues. You can't even look at the positives because there's barely any in this movie. And that's my review of the film Firestar. Alright, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this film if you have seen it. Okay, this is Slim Guy 172 saying peace out.